Hey kids, John here. Going to talk about cleaning our horn on the road. First thing you want to do is get yourself some soapy water and make it in the ice bucket here. Now I got a nice layer of soapy water. I'm going to do my mouthpiece first because I figure if I do my soapy water, the first thing that I want to clean is my mouthpiece and not have a bunch of gunk. So I take a brush and I brush the mouthpiece real nice and good, you know. Take it and brush it really nice and good on the outside, inside, give it a turn, pull it out, a little bit more water, nice soapy water there. And all I did was I used some hand soap and created some soapy water. So now, my mouthpiece is done, I got my mouthpiece cleaned out, and there it sits. So I use these towels, and I'm going to quickly disassemble the horn here. Just going to undo that so that pops out. I use towels that they provide, it's beautiful. Because I don't have to clean them and I don't have to worry about whether I have enough, because there's always enough. So you set your towels down on the counter of the sink, pull your horn apart. And lay all your parts down on a towel. Okay, so that's not going to come off. There we go, little grip. Ta-da! Alright, so my horn's apart. I'm going to go ahead and just set this aside. And I'm going to deal with the small parts first. Again, I'm going to clean my smaller stuff first. Alright, so just dip that into the soapy water. Now I got a nice soap solution. Run my brushes, because I got a couple brushes with me on the road. Make sure I carry them. Do that. Got myself a nice snake for the road. Dip my brush in there. Hit the inside of that. Now, I lay a towel down into the sink so that I don't have to worry about little parts falling down and getting lost. I know guys that have disassembled their horn and lost parts down into the sink, and you can't get it back. So, and when you go ahead and wash your thing, I just take the soapy water and wash the outside of the horn a little bit. Dipping parts in, boom. Give them a little scrub, dump them out. Dip parts in, give them a little scrub, dump them out. Now, when it comes to the valves, I noticed on another manufacturer's site that he totally disassembled the valves. I don't recommend that when you're on the road, or if you have a gig coming up that's kind of important the next day. That could be very bad. That could be very, very bad if you've got parts that go down the drain or hit the floor and then you can't find a spring or a screw or a valve guide. Very bad idea. So again, I just dip it right into the soap. Boom. I get my brush and I clean it with my brush. Outside, inside, whole thing. Dip it in a couple times. Rinse it out. Pow. Make sure this brush has got some soap on it. And again, I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty here, okay? Not worried about it. I'm going to rub these valves down a little bit with my hands and pull some of the dirt and grime that might be on them off of them. Now, one cool thing to have with you is a toothbrush. If you have a toothbrush that's not for your teeth, you can dip these things in here, and then the parts that are hard to clean, you take this toothbrush and you just go ahead and nail those parts, like the bottom of your valves, these bottom valve caps. They get all dirty, and you just brush them out with a toothbrush. Ta-da! Nice and clean. Alright, so I've soaped everything up. Now I want to go ahead and rinse everything out. So again, I'm going to rinse off my brushes as I go. I got my towel over here. I can lay everything down on my towel. Brushing the soap off, knocking the rest of the dirt out. My valves, again, I rub them with my hands to rub the soap off of them. I nail it through each port. Each valve port gets another brushing, and then I like to run water into here, and it will come out the bottom, and you're just cleaning the inside of that valve, the centerpiece, or you can tip it upside down even, and hold it against there, creating a little bit of pressure to blow the stuff through into the top section, and then rinse the top section out thoroughly. Hold it in there, create a little bit of pressure, give it a little interior pressure wash. That knocks any of the dirt and grime that should be sitting in the center of that valve out of there, gets it right on out of there. And you'll find that it does a good job. Again, I rub my valves down. Don't use hot water, you can use warm water. And if you feel it getting hot, readjust the temperature. Not a good thing to use hot water, especially if you have a lacquered horn, because it could knock the lacquer off and you're going to be looking at your horn going, what the heck happened? Okay, so now the valves are done. Release some of my water here, because I'm building up. There's a few green things floating in there. Now, again, we want to really clean this soap out of here, so I double brush it. I get the straight sections with the larger brush. So I'll do the straight sections, then I take my snake, rinse off my snake again, because that had soap on it, and then I work it all the way through, pull it back out, let the water run through, use my hands to just make sure the soap comes off the outside part of it. Third valve slide, same thing, straight section, I hit with the larger brush, knock some stuff out of there, make sure that my soap is coming out of there, because I don't want to leave soap residue. I don't need to be blowing bubbles on the gig. First valve slide, larger brush. Smaller brush, knock the soap out, rub it down with my hands, knock the soap off the outside. And because my second valve is so small, I just use my snake only. Okay, now, all my slides, my valves, done. We're going to clean our body of the trumpet. I go ahead and just pour some water in. I got nice soapy water. I'm going to soap this thing up real good. Just pour some stuff in there. I got plenty of water to do this with, so I'm going to make sure that the horn itself has got stuff everywhere. And then I'm going to wipe the horn down. Now, I go ahead and place my towel over the drain so that I don't lose my screw or any screws that might pop off the horn as I'm cleaning it, because man, they'd be upset if that happened. So again, I got some water, nice soapy water, sitting in my ice bucket that I made, and I'm going to go ahead and clean out these slides with my little straight brush as much as I can. A little bit more water. Again, you don't want to use hot water. Now, here we go, valve section. This is what this brush is really good at, is making sure you get this valve section. You got this valve section here. You use the brush on it, and you can see the soap bubbling up a little bit, and that's a good thing. Now, if you look in your second valve section, there's probably some goodies in there. Some delicious, yummy goodies. Make sure you get that second valve section really good. Use your straight brush to get these, and then we'll go back with it. And I just go ahead and clean in between the valve block, just because I want to try and clean this horn off as good as I can. Heck, we're doing it, we might as well do it the whole way. Okay? So again, making sure that I've really hit these different sections. Alright, that is it for my straight brush. Now, here's the fun part. I get to push this through and make sure that the connection, and here's what you're really doing, making sure that those places in here that gather gunk, you get clean, because that's where you really want to make sure that you get that clean, because right where your slides go into that valve block is where you're going to accumulate a lot of junk. Okay, so you really want to clean these areas out really well. Okay, that's where you're going to knock the green stuff out. And that's where your burrito from the night before, because you forgot to brush your teeth before you played, ends up being. Now, okay, the bell section. I go ahead and pour a bunch of water down into my bell section, and I run this thing down in there, because down here in the crook you can get it with this brush. So here we go, all the way down into the bell section, and that will clean out the section literally my snake is coming through this slide and hitting in here and really cleaning this area out, which I think is a very important area because that's where your sound is being generated in the bell section. So you definitely want to get that clean. So man, make sure you get after that a little bit. All right, now, yeah, and you can hear the water slushing around in there. So you're doing some good. Oh yeah, there's definitely some green stuff that was living in there. All right, so again, just double checking all these spots. Now our lead pipe, I tend to push it down and pull it through and then work it because it's easier to work it this way. So if you didn't see that, let's do that one more time. Put it in the slide end of your lead pipe, pull it through, and then work it back and forth so it scrubs that lead pipe. All right, now we've soaped down everything. I don't need my soap anymore. I'm done with my soap. Now it's time to knock the soapy water out of this thing. And got to be careful because you don't have a lot of room to work with here. So make sure you move your hands all over the horn to knock that soap off the horn. Otherwise, later in the day when you go to play your horn, it's going to feel sticky and it won't feel clean. Not like you want it to. All right, so once again, we're going to go after this with all of our brushes that we've got. I'm going to straight brush both ends of my lead pipe, get what I can, and I'm going to go after this first valve slide, knocking the soap out of there. Second valve slide, knocking the soap out of there. I've got the section here where my lead pipe crook, turning crook comes into the valve block, and then my third valve slide. Make sure that I get all that real nice. I'm going to go ahead and knock some water through the horn, through the bell section. And then I'm going to knock my valve blocks. And I'm going to do my valve blocks twice because it's really important to make sure you got all the junk out of your valve blocks. Okay, your valve cylinders, if they have junk in them, they're not going to be real fun to use because you're going to have sticky valves. All right, so my straight brush is done. Now I go after it with this. The first thing I'm going to do is the thing that I couldn't get to with that brush, and that's going to be my bell section. I'm really going to go after this and do a lot of scrubbing in there. I really want that to be clean. All right, very good. Now I'm going to do my lead pipe. Oh yeah, look at that. There's some gunk. Do my lead pipe. And I'm going to do it the same way I did it before. I'm going to run it with water going through it. I come into my lead pipe from the top where the tuning slide goes in. And then I'm going to pull it all the way through and scrub it real good while the water's running. There we go. Now, all the slides going into my third valve, get a good cleaning, especially right where they go into the valve casing. That's where you want to hit it. You want to hit it real good going in there. Okay? Second valve, same thing, really good. Knock it really good in there. First valve, same thing. Really concentrate on that area where it goes right where it goes into the valve block. All right, now that I've done that, really want to wash out these valves very good. I just want to make sure they're clean. All right. I'm going to grab that brush real quick. One more time. Here we go. One more time in the valves because I do very much want these to be very, very clean. I don't want any residue in there. All right. So there it is. Now I've done my whole horn. Whole horn's clean. Now we're going to grease it up. Dry it off and grease it up.